how to find the best gaming monitor with my gaming monitor reviews and comparisons. Guys, today we're going to look at a top of the line Dell monitor, the Dell G3223Q, which that's quite of a premium monitor because it checks a lot of boxes, guys. It's a high resolution 4K, it's a 32-inch, it has a high frame rate, and it has an IPS panel, so that checks a lot of boxes. But there can be some traps that you should consider when making a monitor purchase, and I'm gonna walk you step by step what to consider when picking a monitor. First, we're gonna do the unboxing. I'll walk you through some specs and what you can consider. So guys, let's get rolling with this Dell gaming monitor review. And it's really awesome to have this 4K monitor on my desk for testing purposes here. And as you can see, it's really pretty big, it's pretty massive, but let's quickly peek into the box and then put this 4K gaming monitor together. You see from the factory the calibration sheet. That's very nice. Dell included that, as well as some overview how to put the monitor together and connect everything, but I'm going to walk you through that step by step nonetheless. You see power cord is there. And of course, not to forget, my recommendation is connected via DisplayPort if you can, but alternatively, the monitor has one DisplayPort and two HDMI inputs as well. And not to forget the USB uplink if you want to use the monitor as a hub. So just take the material, put it aside, and the first thing you want to do is take the stand and assemble the stand. Just tighten that screw first by hand, and then maybe take a screwdriver to make sure it's really a tight fit. And then we can move right ahead and clip that monitor stand into the back of the monitor. As you can see here, I'm just aligning it and giving it a gentle push down until you hear it clicking in. Yeah, and awesome. That's basically all you need to do. Just lift it out of the box. Be a little bit careful because this monitor is a little bit heavier, simply because of the 32-inch size. And yeah, you can position it on your desk in a position to your liking. And look at this. That monitor looks really stunning. Why don't we just look at the key characteristics, such as, for example, the panel types. That's something you definitely should consider when picking a monitor, whether you want a twisted pneumatic, vertical alignment, or in-plane switching panels. A lot of gamers, they normally use the VA panel since it has very good contrast ratio. But IPS, I really like the colors and the viewing angle stability. And in the case of this Dell gaming monitor, it's not only an IPS panel, which is like a lot of IPS panels have 60 Hertz, but it's a fast IPS panel with a quick reaction time. So that's very nice. And another important thing is obviously the size. So this is a 32-inch 16:9. That is pretty big, guys. It's great if you want to work with multiple documents. You want to have two documents side by side. It's very great for that. It's also terrific. I tested it on my Mac for video editing. You can edit videos on this machine very, very well, simply because you have this big screen real estate. However, you should not forget that different aspect ratios are also available. You don't necessarily need to take a normal 16:9-inch aspect ratio. You could also step it up to 21:9 aspect ratio, the so-called ultra wide, where I also not long ago reviewed the LG 34GN850, which was wider and had a curvature, which also lends itself very nicely to gaming. And if you want to see that, you could click up here in the sidecar and watch the LG video. And then the next step up is even bigger, so-called super wide. And a super wide, an easy way to remember that is that you essentially have two 27-inch monitors side by side. That's the super wide. And for that, I also reviewed the Samsung Odyssey. Although, as you can see here, it's massive. But the Samsung Odyssey, the model that I reviewed, had a VA panel. So not an IPS panel. So those are all considerations. And something also very important thing that you can consider is whether your monitor has a monitor control software. Because yes, obviously I can put my hand behind here and touch this control button and flip to the menu to change whether it's something is brighter or less brighter. However, it's much more convenient to use the Dell Display Manager. So what I really recommend you is go to the Dell website, download the Dell Display Manager, and once you've done that, you can just go to your taskbar down here, start the Display Manager, And out pops this menu, and you can adjust the brightness on the fly, make it really dark, yeah, or make it brighter again, depending on your taste. With the click of a button, guys, this is super convenient. If you purchase a monitor, of course, you can also select input sources and color settings and frame rate and stuff like that. This is super convenient. It's just like one click away and you don't have to use these buttons on the back. So please consider whether your monitor, the monitor that you're buying has a monitor control software. And also very important, if you want to game on a high frame rate monitor, of course, your computer needs to support this. And this is my test system that I'm running right now. It's an AM4 system, 32 gigs of RAM, and a relatively modern RTX, NVIDIA RTX 4070. And I started Cyberpunk, very nice game. I definitely, if you haven't tried that, check that out. I can really recommend that. And I turned it on to Ray Tracing Ultra on 4K. So that's very, very demanding right now. And quickly jumping into the game, that's an awesome way to test how this monitor performs and how my computer system performs, my PC performs. And as you may or may not see, up here we have about 70-75 FPS, 4K gaming with Ray Tracing Ultra. So you can see if you have modern games and you want to play at really high settings with ray tracing, your computer is just be pushed to the limit. And guys, for a game like that, I'm very happy with 75 FPS. Of course, if you had an easier game that's kinder on your hardware, a little bit older title, you would get 144 FPS, no problem. But keep that in mind. The 4K resolution and a high frame rate is really going to be way more taxing on your computer than, let's say, a monitor with a WQHD resolution. So sometimes having a little bit of a lower resolution can definitely also be a positive and kinder to your wallet, because you don't have to have the craziest computer right here. So let's quickly jump out of the car, and you can see it looks terrific. The graphics looks awesome. But yeah, don't underestimate how much compute performance your computer has. Here again, 80 FPS, 82 FPS. So it depends where you are on the map. Of course, you could always lower the graphics settings to get more FPS. But yeah, that's really, Cyberpunk is really a very demanding game. So don't be discouraged by that. But keep that in mind. Maybe you want an X3D processor, and maybe you want even RTX 4080. Awesome, guys, this concludes the review of the Dell 32-inch gaming monitor. And yeah, what's my conclusion? Guys, I really like this monitor on the one hand because it's big, it has a high resolution, and it has a fast IPS panel. That's really, the colors are very appealing to the eye, and the refresh rate is very high. However, this also creates a little bit of a downside, I mean, depending on how you look at it, because for this high 4K resolution plus the high frame rate, if you up your graphics settings in modern games, it becomes quite taxing on your graphics card and even on the processor. In my case, I have this AM4 system still with the RTX 4070, and I'm convinced that if I put X3D cache CPU in there, I would squeeze out even more FPS out of my graphics cards. So please keep that in mind. High resolution, high frame rate. You really want to make sure that your computer can deliver that. If you have less demanding games, maybe graphics wise, that should not be a problem. I mean, I tested it in Cyberpunk, very demanding. I tested it, let's say, in Titanfall, works much better, higher frame rates there. So it really depends on the game and on your settings. But as a rule of thumb, I told you what to consider. And guys, let me know what other content you want to see. I also liked about the monitor, about the Dell monitor, the blue accent lighting on the back. I think that looked very stylish. But that's something you can consider. I mean, I did an AOC monitor with red color accent. Some people, they might like the blue light, others they don't. It's really up to you. So you have seen everything to know about this monitor. Let me know what other content you want to see. Leave a subscribe and maybe even like if you like the video, or dislike. Stay awesome. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.